She checks me and she's like, you're 8 centimeters dilated. And I was like, what? No way. How can I be 8 centimeters dilated? I was like, you just checked me not even 20 minutes ago and I was 5 centimeters. How am I 8 centimeters dilated? Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. My name is Brenda Michelle and I do a combination of mom and lifestyle videos, just basically my life in video. And today I actually wanted to film for you guys the birth story for my daughter. I have filmed the birth story for my son, but I just haven't uploaded it, and I've been looking for the footage everywhere. I cannot find it. So I think maybe what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna film my daughter's birth story and then I'll film my son's and then I'll upload them. I don't actually have footage from the day. I don't have video, I don't have photos because everything happened so quickly. Literally, I think maybe less than 2 hours. Everything happened in less than 2 hours. I went from being maybe around 3 or 4 centimeters dilated to giving birth to my daughter. It was really extreme, but I'm just gonna start off with how everything started. So I was due on December 7th and it was December 5th, and it was just a regular day, you know, just here home taking care of my son, cleaning, organizing, getting ready for baby. So it was December 5th and we were just home. It was me and my son. My boyfriend, he was working, and we were just here, and I had been having cramps, and of course I know what the cramping feels like when you're like going to go into labor, because I felt it with my son, you know, less than a year before. So I knew, okay, this cramping is, you know, it's gonna happen soon, but it was not consistent, and it was not like, you know, like within 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It was really, you know, it wasn't consistent. It wasn't regular. I would have maybe 2 cramps in an hour, and then the next hour I had nothing, and then the next hour I had 3. So it was just not regular at all. So I was like, wow, she probably will come until not the 6th, maybe the 7th in the morning or something. So I thought, okay, I have maybe like 2 more days, because with my son it was very consistent. So I started in the morning and I had you know, every 15 minutes I had cramping, then every 10 minutes, like it progressed, you know, perfectly to the T. So I was like, okay, it's not anytime soon. So I just went about my day. I was cleaning, I was doing laundry, taking care of my son, and it was just like that the whole day. And by the time it was, you know, afternoon, closer to the evening time, it started getting consistent, but it was still like 15 minutes, 20 minutes apart. So I was like, wow, no, I still have a long time. And because we don't have family here in Belgium, I thought, okay, I'm not going to go into the hospital until I'm like in crazy pain and I can't hold it anymore, because I don't want to have to leave my son for a long time. So I was like, okay, I'm fine. Like I still didn't have like extreme pain or anything. It was just cramping. So I was like, okay, I'm fine. We'll probably go into the hospital tomorrow morning. We'll see what happens. So it was maybe about 8 or 9 p.m. and I don't know, maybe my son, he felt it. He felt that something was happening, but he didn't want to go to sleep. He just wanted to play. He just wanted to be here with his mom and his dad, and we're just, you know, just hanging out. And I was having cramping, and again it started to be consistent. So it was about every 15 minutes by this point, and I was like, okay. And it started to get like a little bit more painful, but again, you know, I'd been through like the crazy painful contractions before, so I was like, okay, this is not labor. So we were just chilling and like waiting, and we're like, whatever, you know, it's not gonna happen today. We'll probably go into the hospital. I told my boyfriend we'll probably go into the hospital like tomorrow in the morning to check me, they'll probably say I'm like 3 centimeters, and then we'll come back home and wait some more, and then we'll go back. You know, I just had in my mind it's gonna be this really slow process, because that's how it was with my son. You know, I went into the hospital, I was only 2 centimeters dilated when I went in with my son. I waited all night, so I waited like 12 hours. He was born until the next day, so I was like, still a long time waiting. So I was like, we still have a long time. So, you know, I got my son ready for bed, and he went to sleep really late. He went to sleep maybe around 11, closer to midnight. He was awake with us for a long time. I didn't really understand why he didn't want to go to sleep, but of course now I know, okay, mom is going into labor. It's weird. It's like he felt it, like he knew, okay, I'm not gonna be the only child anymore, so I need to take advantage. This is the last time I have with my mom alone. So yeah, he stayed awake for a long time until close to midnight. So then, you know, I got him ready for bed, you know, took him to the room. We co-sleep, so I put him in bed, and then my boyfriend also, he went into bed. And my boyfriend also, he went into the bed, and they were just chilling, and I was like, you know what, maybe I should try to sleep a little bit, because my contractions were not that painful yet. So I was like, I'm just gonna lay down and try to relax, you know. So I go into bed, and literally as soon as I lay down, it starts like crazy, like, okay, like it's happening. And I couldn't like stay in bed, I couldn't lay down. So I just get up and I start to walk, and I was like, okay, this is feeling more painful. But then again, like I could still manage it. So I was like, okay, maybe I'm like 3 centimeters dilated. I was like, I'm gonna wait some more. I was like, I'm gonna wait some more. So I waited about 30 minutes or an hour, and that was about 1 in the morning. And I just couldn't anymore, you know. I got into bed, and I was like, okay, I'm gonna try to relax, try to sleep maybe, or just lay in bed, you know, try to be comfortable. And I could not stay in bed. It was getting so painful that my body was tensing up. It was just really bad. And my son and my boyfriend were sleeping in the bed, so I was like, you know, I don't want to wake them up. So I go into the living room, and I just sit in the sofa, and I try to ride them out, you know, just try to breathe, just try to relax on my own, and just try to wait. I was like, I have to wait, you know, until I can't anymore, because I don't want my son to be alone for so much time. I don't want him to be in the hospital for a long time. I just wanted my son to be comfortable, you know. I wasn't even thinking about myself or anything else. So I was in the living room, and I was just sitting there, and just like, you know, and it was just going so fast, like it's crazy. It just went from literally 0 to 100 like super quick, maybe 10 to 100. But it was like getting so painful. I was crying, and I go into the room, and I told my boyfriend, you know what, I just can't anymore. We have to go. I was like, we have to go to the hospital. And the hospital is maybe 10 minutes away from where we live, so it's not so bad. But it was literally to the point where I was like, I can't anymore. And then so he gets up, we change my son, we just put like a big jacket, you know, it's like literally the middle of winter. We put like his winter clothes on top of his pajamas, and I actually have a picture of him. I might insert it, I don't know, I might insert it here, of him with literally his clothes on top of his pajamas in the hospital room. So yeah, so I was like, you know what, I can't, like, let's go to the hospital now, like I can't anymore. And I felt a little bit bad, because I was like, I'm probably like 3 or 4 centimeters dilated. I was like, I'm such like a wuss, like I can't, like I'm not good at pain at all. Like if you pinch me, like I will start crying. So I was like, I'm probably like 3 or 4 centimeters dilated. We're gonna have to be at the hospital all night. And I was just telling my boyfriend, you know, like, just go, take me, and then they can check me. If I'm still like 3 or 4 centimeters, then you come home with you know, with the baby. He can sleep here, and then you guys go back in the morning, and she'll probably be born in the morning. He's like, okay. So then I'm like trying to change, you know, through contractions, and my son is crying because we woke him up trying to change him. And then it's just complete chaos, and I'm trying to get the bags because everything wasn't 100% ready, because I thought, you know, I had like 2 more days. I'm trying to stuff things into my hospital bag and trying to bring stuff for my son, you know, trying to bring him some snacks or water, you know, clothes for him in case, you know, he has to stay in the hospital. I'm trying to bring stuff for myself, for my boyfriend. I'm trying to do everything at once while I'm like over here like dying of pain and trying to change myself. You know, it's freaking freezing outside in the middle of winter, and I'm trying to like put some pants on over a huge stomach and like put my jacket on, and it was just intense. We finally get into the car, and then I just can't do it. You know, my boyfriend is like driving, and every time he turns he hits a bump or something, I'm just like, ah, and I'm like screaming at him, drive slowly, why are you driving so fast? And he's literally driving like maybe like 10 miles an hour. He wasn't driving fast at all, and I'm just like super crazy in pain and screaming at him and screaming just in general. And I just, now that I think back at it, I'm like, dang, I'm intense. I'm really crazy. But yeah, so we get to the hospital, and he just parks the car anywhere he can park it. And by this point, I couldn't move. Like, I could not walk. But again, we had my son, my small baby, you know, he was barely a year old. So I'm literally like carrying 2 bags, and he's carrying another bag and carrying my son. And it's like, you know, 1 in the morning, 1:30 by the time we got to the hospital. It was around 1:30 in the morning. We're like trying to walk into emergency, and it's like we live in a small town, and you know, in Belgium, so there's not like, it's not like a crazy emergency room like in the big city. So there isn't a lot of people to help us or anything. There was literally no one. So we're just like trying to walk into the hospital, and I'm literally like stopping every few minutes. By this time my contractions were less than 5 minutes, I think maybe 3 minutes apart. Yeah. So then we're like trying to walk into the hospital, and it was just, it literally took me like 5 minutes to walk into the emergency room. Then once we get into the emergency room, we're like, okay, like I'm having my baby, you know, my due date is in 2 days. And then they see me, they're like, okay, we need to like get her in. They put me in a wheelchair, take me up, and like literally while I'm on the wheelchair, it's just like I can't sit down, I can't anything. It was just like extreme pain. Like I just literally don't know how to describe it anymore. It's like undescribable. I don't know like what to say. Like extreme, like I've never felt anything like it. Like it was really bad. And I was like trying to think like how many centimeters am I, like 3, 4, 5 maybe, because I remembered with my son when they put the epidural, I was about 4 centimeters dilated, and that was intense pain back then. But now that I know what everything feels like, I was like, okay, that was nothing. So then they bring us up into the room, and it's me, my boyfriend, and my baby, my son, and then we're just there, and it starts really bad. The nurse, she checks me, and she's like, you're 5 centimeters dilated. And I'm like, what? 5 centimeters? And then I was like, can you please give me the epidural? Please give me, like, I'm begging her, like, literally, like, if I could have gotten on my knees, I would have gotten on my knees and begged her to give me the epidural. And then she says, okay, wait, I need to check you into the hospital. I need to call the doctor. She will come check you, then we can give you the epidural. And I was like, okay, please, please hurry up. Like, I can't do this. I'm literally crying, screaming, begging her, please, like, do something. I can't with this pain. And I tell my boyfriend, please take my son out. Like, I don't want him to see me like this. So he takes my son out to, like, just walk around the hospital. By this time, my son is, like, fully awake. Like, he's not going back to sleep. It's, like... And then I'm literally, like, in the room by myself, like, just going crazy. Like, I'm, like, grabbing... I just remember, like, grabbing onto everything and just going like this by myself, screaming. But now that I think back at it, back at that moment, I feel like being alone actually helped me, because it helped me like concentrate, you know, and it helped me like breathe and calm myself. I'm very like, when I'm stressed, when I'm going through something, like I just need to be alone. I need to like work on things on my own. So I feel like in a way God did that so that I could help myself, you know, and just go through it on my own, as opposed to having the stress of having my boyfriend and the nurse and the doctor and, you know, just a lot of people in there with me. Where was I? So then I'm just like there, you know, waiting for the nurse and just like hitting the bed, hitting everything. Then my boyfriend comes in and then he's asking me like, you know, has the nurse came back? What's happening? And then I'm like, she's not back, and I'm just like so angry. I'm like screaming at him. I'm like, do something, like call the nurse, like why isn't she coming? I'm like pushing the red button like I'm crazy, like, you know, and I'm literally cursing, like I'm going crazy, super bad. Now that I think about it, I feel really bad, but I was like, I freaking, so many bad words. This nurse, she's not doing her job. What is she doing? Like, it was just really bad. And now that I think about it, I feel really bad for the nurse for having to, you know, take care of me and just deal with me at that moment. But yeah, so I was 5 centimeters when she checked me. Then she came back. I swear it wasn't even 30 minutes. It was like maybe 20 minutes or less than 20 minutes. I don't know. She comes back and she was like, okay, I need to check you again, and then we can, you know, do the epidural or whatever we're gonna do. And I say, okay. So then I lay down. I'm super uncomfortable. She checks me and she's like, you're 8 centimeters dilated. And I was like, what? No way. How can I be 8 centimeters dilated? I was like, you just checked me not even 20 minutes ago and I was 5 centimeters. How am I 8 centimeters dilated? I was like, I haven't been here for that long. And I was like, please. At this point, I'm like, just, I wish I would have recorded it, but I was like hysterical. I was insane. I felt like I was in hell. I don't know, but I was like, please. I was screaming at her. I was crying. I was begging her. I was, please call a doctor. Please give me something. I was like, can you give me anything? Tylenol, paracetamol, like, just give me anything. And I was like screaming at her. And she was like, you know, doing her job. She was calm. She was trying to calm me down. She was like, listen to me. She's like, you're gonna have this baby now. She's like, I can't give you anything. She's like, by the time the medication, like epidural or anything I give you, you know, actually has effect on your body, your baby's gonna be here. And I was like, what? I was like, no, I can't do this. I can't do this without anything, any medication. And I was just going crazy. Like, I don't know how to explain it. Like, I was hitting the pillows, I was hitting the bed, I was hitting the computer. There was like a computer next to me that was like monitoring everything. And I was like, I can't, like, you guys don't understand. Like, I am so bad with pain. Like I said, like I get like a pinch, or like you hit me. Like my son, you know, he hits me with his head sometimes. He headbutts me and I freaking start crying. Like, I just can't, like, my pain tolerance is 0, or like, I don't know, whatever. And I was just going crazy. I was like, I can't do this. Like, you have to give me something. And she's like, I can't, I'm sorry. She's like, I will go and call the doctor and the doctor will come. Now that I think about it, I feel like she did that on purpose. Like, she was like, okay, I have to go do this, I'll come back. Because she wanted me to be on my own and just, or I don't know. But she kept leaving. The nurse kept leaving and I would just go crazy. I was like, where's this nurse? Like, she's not doing her job. And I was just going crazy. So then the nurse left again and I was 8 centimeters. I was like almost fully dilated and I was just in extreme pain. Like, literally, like, I tried to like remember what this pain is like, and I just, all I remember is like flames and my body was like so hot and I felt like I was in hell, literally. Like, I felt, I don't know, it was really bad. So then the nurse comes back again. It wasn't even like 20 minutes, it was less than 20 minutes. She comes back and she's like, okay, I'm gonna check you again. And I was like, what? You just checked me, why are you gonna check me again? Again, I lay down, she checks me, she's like, you're 10 centimeters dilated. And I was like, what? I can't believe it. I was like, I can't do this. I literally kept repeating this like 1,000 times. So I was like, I can't do this, please. I cannot do this. I even like tried to like enunciate it to her. I was like, I cannot do this, I cannot. I was like, please, begging her, like, please, like doing everything I could for her to give me anything, any medication at all. Like, I wanted Tylenol, I wanted anything. And she was like, I can't give you anything. I was like, she's like, I'm gonna call a doctor, you're gonna have your baby now. And my boyfriend wasn't even there. He was out walking with my son because I had told him, please take him out because I don't want him to see me like this. I don't want him to remember, you know, me like this. So he took him out to walk around the hospital. And the doctor is like, I'm calling the doctor, you're gonna have your baby now. And I was like, no, I can't do this. And I'm like crying, and she's wheeling me out into like the operating room or wherever they have the babies. It's like a operating room or something like that. And she's like, yes, you're gonna have her, you're ready to push. And I was like, I can't. They take me into the operating room, and oh my gosh, this was like the worst experience ever. Like, honestly, giving birth is no joke, and giving birth with literally no medication, super fast, so unexpected. Like, you don't even have time to process it. Like, it just happened so quickly. Like, it just, I don't know. Like, she takes me into the operating room, and I'm just like trying to push. I think I pushed for about 15 minutes. I think 15 or 20 minutes. I don't even remember the exact time, but it was about 15 or 20 minutes. It took some time because with my son, I pushed maybe 3 times and he was out, but I had the epidural, so it wasn't like painful. Like, you know, I could really concentrate on the pushes and really focus on giving birth to him. But with my daughter, I was just in so much pain. Like, I was so focused on the pain and so focused on my suffering and what I was feeling that I didn't focus on pushing, and I was just screaming. And the nurse told me, she was like, listen to me, she's like, you're not pushing, you're screaming. She said, if you want, you know, if you want this baby to come out, you know, you have to push, you have to focus on your pushes. And she was like trying to explain to me and trying to tell me, like, this is what you have to do, you know, if you want this to be over, if you want her to come out. And then I just wasn't reasoning. I was, you know, I was in hell. I was like extreme pain. And she was like, and then I was just screaming for, I think for about 5, almost 10 minutes. I was just screaming. I wasn't even pushing. Like, I was trying to push, but I was like, ugh, like, I don't know how to explain it. If you've had a baby, then you know what I'm talking about. If you're screaming, you're not really pushing. So I was like screaming for about 10 minutes until she finally, you know, like looked me in the eyes, and she was like, listen to me, I know you're in extreme pain right now. I know you want like medication and you want this and this and this, but she was like, you're screaming. If you want your baby to come out and this to be over, you need to push. And she's like, push, not scream. So then, I don't know what I did, and my daughter is awake, so I have to get her. So then the nurse, she basically explained to me, and she looked me in the eye, and she said, you need to push. Don't scream, push. And I was like, okay. And I don't know what, but just something just came over me, and I was like, you know what, I can do this, you know. And it just hit me, like, they're not gonna give you any medication, they're not gonna do anything else, they're literally just gonna help you push, and you have to do it. You have to get her out. You can't stay here forever. So then I just pushed through the pain and through everything, and I pushed and I pushed, and I was like, you know, I've done it before with my son, so I was like, I can do this. And I just focused. I focused on pushing, and then they told me, she's coming, she's coming. They're like, her head is coming, keep doing it, push, push. And I was pushing. Finally her head came out, and then her full body came out, and they put her on me, and she was crying, and I was crying. And as soon as they put her on me, I literally started crying so much, and I started saying sorry. I was like, I'm sorry, saying sorry to the doctors, and especially to the nurse that was with me. I was like, you know, I had been extremely crazy and just yelling at her and all this negative stuff, and I was like, I'm so sorry for yelling at you, I'm sorry for everything that I said to you, thank you so much. I was just saying thank you, you know, for helping me, you know, just out of nowhere, everything just came into place, and I was like, oh my gosh, I can't believe this. Then yeah, they cut her umbilical cord. My boyfriend wasn't there. He was literally out walking with my son. He didn't even know I was in labor until he came back, and he heard me screaming later on. He told me he heard me screaming, and he felt bad because of course he couldn't be with me, but he was with my son. And of course I don't mind, you know, as long as my son is okay. I was fine, you know, the nurses and the doctor, they took care of me. But yeah, so then they checked my daughter, they weighed her, they did what they had to do, and then they gave her to me, and they wheeled me out into the room, into our room where we were. And then my boyfriend came in, and then my son saw the baby. And my son likes children, he likes babies, so he was like, oh baby, you know. Of course he still hadn't realized, like, oh, she's coming home with us, and you know, she's gonna share your mom with you. But he was kind of like between sleepy and happy. So by that time it was about 3 in the morning. So now you can see everything happened in about a 2-hour span. And by that time, it's just weird. I tried to like think and describe the pain that I felt, and I felt like it hadn't even happened. It's so weird. I feel like, I mean, if you've given birth and you've lived through that experience, especially if you've lived it without any medications, you know, just like all natural, then you know what I'm talking about. Like, you just forget it. Like, it just vanishes. It's weird. Like, I try to describe and think of the pain, and I just can't. I can't remember it. I mean, I remember everything that happened that day, and I remember living it, but I don't remember the physical pain, which of course is amazing, and which is why a lot of women say, and that's why you have so many kids. I mean, that's what my mother says. She says, and that's why I had so many kids. My mother, she had 5 children. She said that's why I had so many kids, because you forget about the pain. You just remember, you know, the beautiful moments. You remember, you know, seeing your baby for the first time and holding them and seeing them with their siblings, and it becomes, you know, amazing again. You know, you forget about the hell of the burning in your body. So yeah, that's the story of how my daughter was born. And yeah, I hope you guys like the story. I mean, I really just wanted to film this for myself, just as a memory. And yeah, this was my birth story. I hope you all like this video, and please do not forget to subscribe and check out my social medias. I will link them down below, or I will add them onto the screen. But thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.